Unexpectedly arriving in Douluo continent, I awakened the female clergy professions I played in my past life. The flame angel nurse and the savior fourth aunt, with 1 assist and 1 output. Duan Yufan. Tang San wants to hit me, and the divine realm also wants to get involved. They both want to bully me as an assistant, so let's fight together. Duan Yufan. When I drew another martial soul, you had no time to regret it. Book Friend Group 935451095. Interested parties can add a group keywords of the novel. Douluo's strongest full-time assistants without pop-ups, Douluo's strongest full-time assistants. Download the full text of Douluo's strongest full-time assistants, and read the latest chapters of Douluo's strongest full-time assistants. Chapter 1. Inexplicable Soul Piercing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Inexplicable Soul Piercing. Duan Yufan, from Xianlan Star, was originally playing a PC game called Dungeon Warrior, and has a hobby of being a female clergywoman. The entire interface only has 2 female clergywomen changing professions, the Flame Angel and the Savior, 1 light and 1 dark, 1 wet nurse and 1 output. Duan Yufan is very anxious now. What's alarming is that Duan Yufan has turned into a little boy, not knowing how old he is now. What's even more alarming for Duan Yufan is that he has arrived at a place he doesn't know where. And when Duan Yufan woke up, he was hiding under a bed in a stone house. Duan Yufan was clearly clicking on the blazing angel profession on the interface to enter the game. Unexpectedly, with a flash of white light, Duan Yufan closed his eyes and opened them, transforming into a little boy. What's the point? No one answered Duan Yufan's words. Due to the screams outside, Duan Yufan didn't know what was happening and the unfamiliar environment, so he nervously continued to hide under the bed and didn't dare to make a sound. Oh my goodness! I just got a cross weapon with an increase of 15 last night. How could it be like this for no reason? My Ozma equipment hasn't graduated yet. My weapon with an increase of 15 doesn't have a milkman yet, ahem. Duan Yufan cried in his heart, wanting to cry without tears. Suddenly, a huge sound came, causing the entire stone house to shake. Duan Yufan was startled and suddenly lifted his head. Duan Yufan forgot that he was hiding under the bed and hit his head on the stone bed, feeling dizzy and fainting on the ground. The despicable evil soul master has actually destroyed another village, and it is still in the surrounding villages of the martial soul city. It is too arrogant to act under the Pope's command. A person dressed in gray and white clothes, simple and tidy, was about 30 years old. That's right. It can only be said that evil soul master is too cunning, like a dirty mouse, hiding from XC. He is also wearing the same clothes, indicating that he is a uniform of the same organizational force. There are 2 rows of 6 people behind, wearing dark gold armor and helmets. Deacon, the 3 evil soul masters have been eliminated, but it seems that there are not many living people in the village. We arrived too late, the armored soldier reported to the middle-aged man. Everyone carefully search for each house one by one. What if some parents hide their children, said the person called the deacon. Yes, deacon. The soldiers went door to door and began searching, and the 2 middle-aged men who were leading the way were not idle either. They also started searching together. 8 people went door to door for over an hour, then returned to the location where they had killed the evil soul master, next to a stone house. Duan Yufan was in this stone house and happened to have not found it yet. Deacon. We searched around but couldn't find any survivors, the soldier reported. Okay, we can't give any hope at all. The place where the evil soul master appeared is barren and lifeless. The middle-aged deacon sighed and was full of anger at the evil soul master's behavior. By the way, have you searched in this room? Another middle-aged man suddenly said. Vice deacon, we didn't look for this stone house and thought the 2 adults had looked for it, the soldier quickly replied. Go take a look, and also bring out the evil soul master. The deputy deacon called out, and the deacon was divided into a leader and a deputy, equivalent to the captain and deputy captain of a small team. Okay. Deputy Deacon. The soldier responded and called out to the 5 brothers to move the messy corpses from the stone house together. Moving half of the way, 2 people pulled out the evil soul master, while the other few were still moving. Suddenly, one of the soldiers saw a little boy's arm exposed under the bed. The soldier quickly stepped forward to check his pulse, then placed his finger in front of his nostrils, and immediately shouted out after checking. "Sir! There's a little boy here, with his pulse and breathing. Hurry up. Take it out," the deacon exclaimed with great joy. I was overjoyed to finally find a survivor. Although I killed the evil soul master, the entire village was destroyed and unable to face the martial soul hall and my superior bishop. "Here, the steward." The soldier quickly carried the little boy to the steward. The deacon took the little boy. White, tender and delicate, with delicate facial features and a bit of mud on the face. There are no scars on the appearance of the body. The butler carefully examined the little boy and found only a slight bulge on his head. Fortunately, there was only a small bump on my head. I think it was when I was panicking and hiding, I accidentally bumped into my head and passed out. After touching it, I found that I was exactly 6 years old and could catch the awakening day of this month. "Xiaolin, come and carry this little boy on your back. Let's go back." After analyzing the situation, the executor called for a soldier and headed back home. "Yes. Deacon." The soldier called Xiaolin carried the little boy back to the martial soul city. 8 people walked towards the same path and returned to report. Duan Yufan had a dream, dreaming that he had become a little boy, dreaming that he was in a strange environment, and dreaming that he was being chased by a ferocious person. "Ah! Don't chase me." Duan Yufan fell while running away. "Run, you should keep running. You can't run anymore, become a part of my strength, ah." Duan Yufan was startled to wake up when he saw the knife cutting towards him. Fortunately, it was a dream. Why am I trembling? Duan Yufan suddenly opened his eyes and found himself walking on his back. "Deacon. The little boy is awake." "I know." The 8-person team walked for over 2 hours when suddenly they were startled by Duan Yufan's, "Ah. This child. How are you doing? Do you feel any pain anywhere?" The deacon approached Duan Yufan and greeted with a smile, as the soldiers were still carrying their backs on their way. "Children." Duan Yufan looked at his hand and found it to be a tender and white one. "I'm not dreaming, right?" Duan Yufan said with a disappointed expression on his face. "Children, I'm very sorry for coming late and causing your loved ones and friends to die. We are also very sad, and the whole village has found you as a living person." The butler blamed himself and comforted Duan Yufan, saying, "It wasn't a dream, I really came into a strange world," Duan Yufan thought to himself without replying to the deacon's words. The deacon thought that Duan Yufan was too sad to speak, so he continued. "Child. Don't worry, we will arrange your affairs properly. You happen to be 6 years old and can participate in the martial soul awakening day in half a month. Whether you have soul power or not, our martial soul hall will arrange for you to grow happily." "What? Martial soul awakens. Martial soul hall. Douluo continent." Duan Yufan stared at the deacon in surprise. "That's right. This is near the martial soul city, and we'll be there in about an hour." "Ah. It's all our negligence. The evil soul masters around the martial soul city dare to commit crimes. But my child. Don't worry, we've already killed the evil soul master who killed your family and friends." The deacon continued to blame himself, explaining the reason. "Uncle. It's not your fault. It's all because the evil soul master is cunning, cruel and inhumane. I will live strong. If I can cultivate, I will definitely destroy the evil soul masters in the whole continent. Duan Yufan comforted the deacon and said, "Good child. On the day of the awakening of the martial soul in half a month, I will personally take you to accompany you to awaken the martial soul," said the deacon as he looked at the suddenly sensible Duan Yufan. "You should rest well first. I'll call you when you arrive at the martial soul hall," the steward continued. Duan Yufan happened to be digesting this incredible situation and closing his eyes on the soldier's back to rest. In another book, I found that I couldn't control the cold demon god with red eyes that seemed to wake up and go crazy. So I switched to a different profession, this time it's with the Martial Soul Hall, not independent. New book seeking recommendation ticket, end of this chapter. Chapter 2. Arriving at the Martial Soul City. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Arriving at the Martial Soul City. After Duan Yufan closed his eyes on the soldier's back, his mind was secretly thinking. Hey! How could I travel to the Douluo continent? I often read novels about other people's travel, and they say that there have been a lot of travel in the past 2 years, with various strange postures. I never expected that one day it would be my turn to travel. But what kind of time travel do I belong to? It seems to be ordinary, without illness or pain, and I didn't hear a ding sound, saying, "Host. Hello, I am the XXX system." I also didn't hear the voice of the immortal grandfather with white hair, and he didn't have any strange accessories on his body. He also traveled to the Douluo continent novel, but I haven't read the original work. I just watched 1 billion episodes of anime, and they haven't been updated yet. I just can't figure it out, so I logged into Dungeon and Warrior games and came here. I log in every day. I've been playing games for 12 years, but now I'm caught up in the trend of time travel. Did I successfully increase my weapon by 15 and then get a virus from a hacker in the game? I really have a headache, My brain was indeed knocked out. Duan Yufan had nothing to gain and had wild thoughts all the way. Hey! If you have soul power, work hard to cultivate. If you don't have soul power, find a beautiful village and live your life quietly. Looking at this situation, even if you have soul power, you can only join the Martial Soul Hall. The Martial Soul Hall is still there, I don't know what time period it is now. About an hour later, Duan Yufan was awakened by the deacon and opened his hazy eyes. The afterglow of the sun was a bit dazzling, but Duan Yufan seemed to be about to set. Child, the Martial Soul City has arrived. Can you come down and walk? By the way, what's your name, child? The deacon woke up Duan Yufan and said. Uncle. My name is Duan Yufan, I'm almost resting now, I can walk by myself. Duan Yufan responded obediently. You're such a well-behaved child. You stay at my house for the next half-month, and then I'll take you to the Martial Soul City Square to awaken your martial soul. The deacon saw that Duan Yufan was so young and had nowhere to go, so he took him back to his own house to live. Vice Deacon Yang, please go back and report to the bishop first. I will take this child to my house first, and I will report later. The deacon said to another vice deacon. Okay. Deacon Mo, I'll report the situation to the bishop first. Vice Deacon Yang understood the situation and agreed. You've also worked hard, let's disband first. Director Mo continued to say to the other 6 people. Yes, the steward. The soldiers responded and all went back to their homes. Duan Yufan, I'll call you Xiaofan. My surname is Mo, just call me Uncle Mo. Let's go into the city first. Director Mo introduced himself and then led Duan Yufan into the Martial Soul City. Duan Yufan looked at Qingxiang, who was at least 20.30 meters tall, and even the gate was over 10 meters high. Okay. Uncle Mo. Duan Yufan followed into the door, checking one by one. The guard watched as Director Mo did not check, indicating that everyone knew Director Mo and immediately allowed him to pass. Entering the city, the streets are bustling with various merchants and stalls selling goods, as well as various noisy shouts. The most common sound heard is selling vegetables. After all, it's almost time to cook, and the sky is already dawn. Deacon Mo took Duan Yufan and made a few turns before stopping at the entrance of an exquisite stone house and pushing him in. "I'm back from the mission. Come in, kid, this is my house." Director Mo shouted inside the door and then called Duan Yufan in. Duan Yufan walked into the gate and found a small courtyard with a two-story house inside. Except for the rooms on the middle, left, and right sides, the house was quite large. A woman about the same age as Deacon Mo walked out of the room on the right. Duan Yufan guessed that she must be Deacon Mo's wife, gentle and virtuous, with the appearance of a good family owner. "You're back, how did the task go?" "It's just that the food is about to be cooked, eh? This child is." Mo, the wife of the steward, said gently as she walked out. "Ah. It's hard to say. This is a child from the village. The village has been destroyed, and only this child is left. I'll bring this child to stay with us for now. I also need to go to the bishop's place to report today's situation. Please prepare the food and take this child to eat first, and I'll come back later." Director Mo explained. All right, Mo. Deacon's wife understood and said. After listening, Deacon Mo walked out of the door. Deacon Mo's wife came over and said to Duan Yufan. "Child, what's your name?" "I'm his wife, you can call me Aunt He." Aunt He introduced herself to Duan Yufan. "Aunt He. My name is Duan Yufan, just call me Xiaofan." Duan Yufan also introduced himself. Xiaofan, you can sit inside first, there are 2 more dishes left to eat." And he took Duan Yufan into the room and walked towards the kitchen. Duan Yufan didn't see anyone else except for Deacon Mo's wife. Not long after, he saw Aunt He carrying food to the living room, placing it on the table, and then going out to bring 2 dishes in. "Xiaofan. Let's have dinner, Uncle Mo. You may come back later. We'll wait while we eat." And he put the dishes away and asked Duan Yufan to hurry up and eat. "Thank you, Aunt He." Duan Yufan picked up his meal and started eating. Duan Yufan was indeed hungry, and his body was only 6 years old. "Don't be polite. Xiaofan, eat meat," Aunt He greeted her. "Aunt He, you're really delicious." Duan Yufan responded to Aunt He. He. "If it's delicious, eat more," and he smiled slightly and said. "Aha." Halfway through the meal, Deacon Mo pushed the door open and came back. "I'm back. Wash your hands and eat, we haven't finished yet." And he watched as Director Mo returned and quickly went out of the living room to welcome him. Here we go." Deacon Mo walked into the living room and saw Duan Yufan eating. "Uncle Mo. You're back," Duan Yufan stood up and quickly said. "Xiaofan. Don't be polite, sit down quickly." Deacon Mo interrupted when he saw Duan Yufan greeting him. A warm night has passed. For the next half-month, Duan Yufan stayed at Director Mo's house. It is understood that Director Mo is a deacon in the branch hall of the Martial Soul Hall to the west of the Martial Soul City. The Martial Soul City is too large, with a Martial Soul branch hall located in the southeast, northwest, and 4 directions. The center of the Martial Soul City is the Pope's Hall and the Douluo Hall, which are the concentration camps of the Martial Soul Hall's power. Duan Yufan also learned that Deacon Mo has a young son who happens to be 10 years old and teaches at the Junior Soul Master Academy in the Martial Soul City. After half a month of getting along, Deacon Mo and Aunt He treated Duan Yufan very well, being well-behaved and sensible, and very much in love. "Xiaofan, get up. Uncle Mo will take you to the Martial Soul Hall Square to attend the awakening ceremony." Deacon Mo called Duan Yufan early in the morning before the sun had even risen. "Uncle Mo. I'm getting dressed now, I'll be there soon," replied Duan Yufan. After a while, they set out. They bought some mantu in the street and ate while they were on their way. Because Deacon Mo's house is still a little far from the square of Wulin Hall, it's about an hour's walk. Along the way, Duan Yufan saw many people walking towards the direction of the Martial Soul Hall Square with their children. The children, like Duan Yufan, had reached the age of awakening the martial soul. Duan Yufan is looking forward to what his martial soul is. Nana, you're already 10 years old. Go to the square awakening ceremony to see if there are any talented children. Yes. Teacher. If Duan Yufan saw them, he would definitely recognize these two people, because they were talking about Pope Bibidong and Saint Helena, and Helena was only 10 years old, which means she is 4 years older than Duan Yufan. Duan Yufan is 2 years older than Tang San in Douluo continent. New book seeking recommendation ticket. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Awakening Martial Soul. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Awakening Martial Soul, you too should also follow, Pope Bibidong continued. Yes. Under the crown of the Pope. The two people around Pope Bibidong also took orders at the same time. Duan Yufan followed Director Mo to the square of the Martial Soul Hall. Under the orderly arrangement of the Martial Soul Hall patrol team, although there were many people, it did not appear very chaotic. Parents stop. Xiaofan, you go inside. The awakening of the martial soul does not require any fees, you don't need to worry. Deacon Mo brought Duan Yufan to the land of awakening the martial soul. The square is divided into two areas. Close to the Martial Soul Hall is the place where the awakening martial soul ceremony takes place. It was intercepted by patrol guards because the awakening martial soul cannot be disturbed, so parents are not allowed to enter except for the children who need to participate. Okay, Uncle Mo. I got it. Duan Yufan responded to Uncle Mo. Xiaofan, don't have any pressure. Just proceed as usual, but you also need to work hard and strive to awaken a good martial soul. Director Mo cheered. Thank you, Uncle Mo. Let's go in first. Duan Yufan passed by the patrol team and upon inspection, it was found to be a child around 6 years old. He immediately cleared the way. As soon as Duan Yufan entered, a staff member of the Martial Soul Hall immediately signaled to Duan Yufan to queue up. Good guy, there are 5 Martial Soul Awakening Guides and 6 Soul Rings, indicating that there are 5 Soul Emperors. In front of the 5 Martial Soul Awakening Guides, there are more than 20 children. Children also came in one after another, and Duan Yufan immediately arrived at the queue closest to the side with fewer people. In front of Duan Yufan was a little girl who might have noticed someone behind her and immediately turned her head to look at him. The little girl had a slightly round and cute face, but she turned around after taking a glance at Duan Yufan. At the age of 6, Duan Yufan is not tall, just over 1 meter tall. It is impossible to see what kind of martial soul the child in front of him has awakened, but he can hear the voice of the awakened martial soul guide. The most awakened is the beast martial soul, with most innate soul power between 2 and 7 levels. The majority awaken 4th and 5th levels of soul power, and occasionally there are children without innate soul power. After all, they are in the martial soul city, with most having innate soul power, but not high. There is a dedicated registration personnel next to the guide of martial soul awakening, and each awakened person will register their name, martial soul ability, innate soul power, etc. More than 10 minutes had passed, and soon it was Duan Yufan's turn to awaken his martial soul. The little girl in front of Duan Yufan began to accept the guide's soul power to draw out the martial soul inside his body. A bird appeared on the palm of the little girl's right hand. Fian martial soul, child. Come and place your palm on the crystal ball to test your innate soul power. The guide said the name of the martial soul and continued to test your innate soul power. The crystal ball lit up soon. Brightness accounts for at least 80% of the crystal ball. Innate soul power level 8. Great, go over there and register your child, said the guide happily. This was the first genius to appear at the innate soul power level 8 today, and naturally the guide was also very happy. Duan Yufan looked like a genius, with an innate 8th level soul power talent that was already very good. Unexpectedly, this lovely little girl was a genius. Duan Yufan thought to himself, but couldn't help but think about something, because the next one was himself. Duan Yufan tried his best to suppress his nervous heart, saying that not being nervous is definitely false. After all, it is related to the situation in Douluo continent, just like the moment when the scores are released after the college entrance examination. Child. Don't be nervous, just stand quietly, the guide comforted and then infused soul power into Duan Yufan to guide the martial soul inside. After a while, Duan Yufan just felt very comfortable, but after 2 minutes, his martial soul did not appear for a long time. Uncle, has it started? Duan Yufan asked nervously, as his own martial soul did not appear in his palm. Ah. Strange. It shouldn't be. It's true that the bone is over 6 years old. How come the martial soul hasn't appeared yet? The guide muttered to himself, looking at Duan Yufan strangely. Duan Yufan felt a chill as he looked at the strange expression on the guide's face. He didn't even have a useless martial soul, did he? Child. Wait a moment, I will continue to increase my soul power output to awaken your martial soul. The guide increased his soul power input into Duan Yufan's body. At levels 10, 20, and 30, the guide couldn't control his soul power, and all of his soul power at the Emperor level was sucked in by Duan Yufan. Duan Yufan had already closed his eyes and seemed to have something about to appear in his body. Bishop, help me quickly. My soul power has been drained by this child and I can't let go of my hands. Duan Yufan, the guide, shouted loudly to the people standing behind the 5 guides. The shout of Duan Yufan, who was leading the way, caught the attention of the 3 people watching the awakening ceremony not far away. Among them was a girl of about 10 years old, with fair skin on her face and a charming allure from a young age. Behind him stood 2 adults, dressed in golden clothes and standing in a seductive posture, one dressed in black, emitting a cold breath. What's going on? The bishop came over to inquire. I don't know either. When I awakened my martial soul for this child, my inexplicable soul power was sucked away. The guide said helplessly, awakening countless martial souls for others, which was the first time I had encountered such a situation. Is it a top-level martial soul that is about to awaken? I will input soul power into your body and hold on. The bishop activated his soul power and released his soul rings. 8 soul rings appeared in an instant, making him a soul Douluo level powerhouse. A soul Douluo level sitting indicates that the martial soul hall has great expectations for the awakening of the martial soul. What's going on? Even I have raised my soul power to above the level of soul emperor, and this child just emits a faint light. The bishop looked at Duan Yufan in surprise, but did not stop his soul power output. At this moment, Duan Yufan's consciousness came into his own spiritual space. Ding, enough energy detected. The warrior system is now loaded on the host, and based on the host's cognition, the system has opened 2 professions for the host. Please choose one profession. A cold and heartless voice rang in Duan Yufan's mind. The bishop and guide outside finally let go of the hand that inputted soul power and watched as Duan Yufan's whole body emitted light. System. I actually came to the system, choose a profession. Duan Yufan looked at a panel in front of him, and 2 figures appeared. One was a female profession wearing golden clothes with 6 wings behind her, in a posture of clasping her palms and praying. The other dressed in dark purple clothes, holding a dark purple sickle, looked at Duan Yufan with a seductive posture. There was a confirm button below the 2 characters. These are 2 professions, the Flame Angel and the Savior. Duan Yufan was surprised, as he had been playing these 2 professions for several years and was very familiar with the costumes of these 2 figures. Can the system only select one? Can't two be selected together? Duan Yufan asked hesitantly. No, please host as soon as possible now. All right. Duan Yufan walked up to the panel and looked at the two professions hesitantly, one at this and the other at that. There's no way. This is the only way. Duan Yufan quickly raised his left and right hands and simultaneously clicked two confirm buttons. Haha. Only children make choices, I want all of them. I'm such a clever ghost, said Duan Yufan with a loud laugh after simultaneously clicking two confirm buttons. Host. The system exclaimed in shock, disappearing and leaving only two professions. The panel cracked open. Humph. A system actually wants to take control of me, and I am in charge of my fate. I didn't expect this mentally disabled system to collapse due to its disorder. Awaken. The power of the blazing angel. Duan Yufan returned to reality, and the blue sky and white clouds suddenly changed. The entire martial soul city sky turned into a golden sky, with a golden pillar of holy light enveloping Duan Yufan. This is. Angel divine power has descended. No, it's not angel divine power, but a bright energy similar to angel divine power, in the martial soul square. A white-haired old man meditated in a golden palace, suddenly opening his eyes and disappearing into place. At the same time, a woman in the papal hall was also startled and disappeared from her seat in an instant. This is. A song came from the holy pillar enveloping Duan Yufan, and no one could understand it. Slowly, a huge figure with 6 winged wings appeared behind it. God, please have mercy on the world. After speaking, it transformed into a huge, pure and flawless cross and infiltrated Duan Yufan's body. Looking at the person with the 6-winged blazing angel, the patrol team and bishop of the martial soul hall all knelt down, while the children who received the awakening of the martial soul had already fainted. Under the holy light, everyone felt an unprecedented peace in their hearts and couldn't help but kneel down. Farewell to the angels and gods. What a powerful and holy light energy, on par with the energy of angels and gods, this child. The old man with white hair also knelt down on one knee and thought to himself. By the time the white hair lifted its head, Duan Yufan had long been out of place. Bibi Dong. You dare. Duan Yufan shook his head and arrived at a large hall. The system or something, it's not necessary at all. Puff, the system crashed by the protagonist, and there won't be a system in the future. New book seeking investment, seeking votes, thank you for your support, end of this chapter. Chapter 4. Flame Angel Martial Soul Talent and Ability. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Flame Angel Martial Soul Talent and Ability. In the main hall, there was only one woman standing in front of Duan Yufan. The woman was about 1.75 meters tall, with a purple golden crown on her head and gray-purple long hair that had a slight bend in the middle. Almost perfect appearance, fair skin, wearing a golden long dress that fits perfectly from top to toe. The dress has 3 colors of gemstones, red, gold, and blue, shining brightly. The whole person exuded a noble, sacred and majestic aura, dignified and elegant. Duan Yufan couldn't describe this woman at all, but as he looked at her in waves, he was surprised and had a guess in his heart. Apart from her, who else in the martial soul city had such attire and temperament? What a magical ability, being by this child's side, can make the residual energy left by my Rakshasa divine power assessment suppress me, making me more refined and compatible. Pope Bibi Dong looked quietly at Duan Yufan and thought to himself. Child, what's your name? Bibi Dong spoke lightly and asked Duan Yufan for his name. Sister, my name is Duan Yufan. Where is this? I haven't tested my innate soul power yet, Duan Yufan said, pretending not to know after regaining his senses. This is the papal hall, and I am the Pope of the martial soul hall. If possible, you can call me teacher. Bibidong looked at Duan Yufan with a slight upward smile on his lips. Bibidong was very happy now, the happiest time in decades. But let's test your innate soul power first. Bibidong lightly took out a crystal ball to test your innate soul power and handed it to Duan Yufan. Duan Yufan reached out his left hand and placed it on the crystal ball, shining brightly in an instant, and then the crystal ball shattered. Ah! Sister, I'm sorry I broke the crystal ball. Duan Yufan was secretly surprised and apologized. It's okay, this thing is not worth mentioning. I'll replace it with a slightly larger crystal ball for you to continue testing. Bibidong took out another crystal ball that was slightly larger than before. Duan Yufan continued to place his hand on the crystal ball, which instantly shone brightly, but this time the crystal ball did not break. Innate Soul Power Level 20. A voice came from behind Duan Yufan, and when he turned around, he saw an old man with white hair wearing golden clothes. At the same time, Duan Yufan also noticed 3 more people coming in from behind the old man with white hair through the door. What? Innate Soul Power Level 20. That's not like a young lady. A seductive, male and female voice sounded, but he immediately realized he had said the wrong thing because he saw 2 eyes shooting at him. I'm sorry. Your Highness, Pope, I said the wrong thing. Immediately, I lowered my head to admit my mistake. Great offering. 1,000 paths flowing, surprisingly alarmed him. No wonder, the light attribute of the blazing angel should be similar to the angel god attribute he has worshipped for generations. Although Duan Yufan had guesses, he was still surprised. Since that's the case, take this child to the soul-hunting forest to hunt for soul rings and remember to find soul beasts with light attributes. The great monk Qiandao Lu instructed Douluo. Child, can you tell me about your martial soul? Then does what Qiandao Lu kindly asked Duan Yufan. Ah. My martial soul seems to be called the Flame Angel, but now it can only display the weapon cross that symbolizes the Flame Angel, as if it is the ability to heal injuries. Duan Yufan introduced the Flame Angel, pretending to understand and telling the crowd. Is it gone? It shouldn't be. It's so mediocre. Can a child summon their own martial soul? Does what Qiandao Lu blinked and said. Alright. I'll give it a try. Duan Yufan immediately summoned the pure white cross with light. Duan Yufan was surprised because as soon as the cross was taken out, he immediately felt the 6 passive skills of the blazing angel profession. I seem to feel a slight improvement in strength, and I also feel that your soul power has increased significantly. It is indeed an auxiliary soul master. Let's talk about the abilities you feel, said the great offering Qiandao Influenza after taking a moment. Alright. It seems that I can use this martial soul to give people around me 30% power, including movement speed, attack speed, soul power, and spiritual power. These 5 attributes increase by 10% every 10 levels, and there is also a blessing called the Flame Angel, which can bring me back to life with a fatal strike. It can be used once a year, said Duan Yufan, pretending to feel it. What? It can also bring the master of the martial soul back to life from death. This martial soul talent and ability are too incredible, right? Does what Qiandao Lu was shocked. What kind of deity is this blazing angel? He is also a 6-winged angel. His power is to save people, while the power of the Archangel Lord is to judge enemies. We must ask the Archangel Lord to disturb him, thought the great priest Qiandao Lu to himself. Duan Yufan has obtained 6 passive skills of the Flame Angel and awakened his martial soul. 1. Holy Light Infusion, endowing oneself with light attribute attacks, reducing enemy attribute resistance by 30% during attacks. 2. Inspiration. Punish, increase your attack speed and power by 30%. 3. Inspiration. Hymn, increases your soul power by 20%. 4. Devout Faith, increase the strength, soul power, spiritual power, movement speed, and attack speed of nearby teammates, with a 30% increase in base and a 10% increase every 10 levels. 5. The protection of the Flame Angel increases one's soul power by 10% and inflicts fatal damage. The Flame Angel will resurrect the protagonist. After resurrection, the resurrection ability cannot be used again for a year. 6. The Radiant Angel's light increases one's soul power by 10%, and increases auxiliary active skills by 30%. It also increases one's own attack power by 30%. The release of martial souls above triggers passive effects, except for the 5th passive effect, which is extremely incredible. And it allows me to have light attribute attacks and reduce enemy attribute resistance by 30%, which is the current ability of my cross martial soul, continued Duan Yufan in a low voice to the enemy. Great! You are the first auxiliary soul master in the whole continent, and even the 7 treasures glass pagoda cannot match your auxiliary ability. But let Elder Chrysanthemum take you to obtain the soul ring first, said Pope Bibidong calmly. Elder Chrysanthemum. Do you remember the soul beast that obtained the light attribute's auxiliary ability? Bibidong also gave instructions to Chrysanthemum Douluo in a faint tone. Yes. Under the crown of the Pope, there is a great offering to the Lord. Even if I search through the entire soul-hunting forest, I will still search for a suitable soul beast for this child. Chrysanthemum Douluo respectfully accepted the order. What kind of child? From now on, this will be my disciple, the holy son of the martial soul hall. Bibidong said lightly. I agree to become the holy son of the martial soul hall, but I do not agree to become your disciple. You should come to my temple to worship. Can you teach me? Xian Daolu stopped. Humph, don't get it wrong. Although they are also angel martial souls, they are not your 6-winged angel martial souls. Their martial soul abilities are completely different, the opposite. Are you going to the worship hall to retire with your group of old men? Bibidong retorted Qian Daolu. Okay then. But I can call him to come to my worship hall at any time. Elder Chrysanthemum, hurry up and come back. Qian Daolu looked at the tough Bibidong and compromised. It was indeed different from his angel martial soul ability. Yes. Chrysanthemum Douluo dared not offend either side. Fortunately the soul beast's demands were the same. That. Can only add a soul ring to this cross. What about my other martial soul? Duan Yufan whispered at this moment. What? Bibidong and Qian Daolu's gaze fell on Duan Yufan again. The new book has unfolded. Requesting support from recommended tickets. Pirate. If the Ghost General doesn't kill him again, the Pirate King is a fellow pirate. Those who like the Pirate King can take a look. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Second Martial Soul Trial Sickle. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Second Martial Soul Trial Sickle. A dark purple sickle, adorned with 3 golden bars at the bottom of the middle head, has a dark black flame throughout the sickle, a cold and pure ultimate dark energy that makes everyone present want to release their desires. Especially Bibidong has the strongest desire in his heart. God said, "You are guilty. Let me redeem you." A phantom appeared behind Duan Yufan, and a voice appeared in everyone's hearts. Twin martial souls. And the coexistence of light and dark is the ultimate attribute. Qian Daolu was surprised, and such attributes appeared on a child at the same time. Okay, put it away, Scythe martial soul. This martial soul should be a powerful attack weapon martial soul, Bibidong said lightly, but his heart secretly suppressed the restlessness of the Rakshasa divine power. The attack seems to ignore physical defense. Duan Yufan put away the weapon of the Savior's judgment sickle. Originally, Duan Yufan only had an innate full soul power level of 10, but he exploited a system loophole that allowed 2 professions to simultaneously enhance his innate soul power. Duan Yufan has decided to join the martial soul hall, so he has no intention of concealing it. Instead, he will gain more resources by speaking out, but it is only limited to these few people. Alright. Since it's a twin martial soul, first add a soul ring to your cross martial soul. As for your sickle martial soul, don't rush to add a soul ring, otherwise your body won't be able to withstand the power brought by the two martial soul rings. As for your safety, there's no need to worry, Bibidong ordered. Woo woo. It's over, the teacher doesn't love me anymore, and I'll be scratched by this little boy. The girl next to me, who had been silent all along, thought to herself. Nana. From now on, this will be your junior brother Duan Yufan. The auxiliary soul master has no ability, remember to protect him in the academy. Duan Yufan, this is your senior sister Hulaina, 4 years older than you. She is now a level 28 soul master. Bibidong introduced each other to the two people. Junior brother, hello. Hulaina greeted him with a playful voice, looking at the little boy who was 4 years younger than herself. Upon closer inspection, he felt a pleasant impression and had a faint affinity, which is the characteristic of the flame angel martial soul. Senior sister, you too. Duan Yufan looked at Hulaina, although she was only 10 years old, she had already begun to take shape. Alright. Xiaofan, besides us, always keep the information of the second martial soul confidential. Don't tell anyone, you are the same. Elder Ju, go and return quickly. Bibidong ordered. Yes. Holy Sun. Let's go. Chrysanthemum Douluo led Duan Yufan out of the Pope's palace, quickly moving him, and soon left the martial soul city. Elder Ghost. Go to the square and bring the person who brought Duan Yufan to awaken his martial soul to the papal hall. Bibidong watched as Duan Yufan had already left and immediately ordered Ghost Douluo. Yes. Ghost Douluo took orders and walked out. Deacon Mo is still waiting on the outskirts of the awakening ceremony for almost 2 hours now, but he is still in a hurry when he sees that Duan Yufan has not come out yet. After Duan Yufan was taken away by Bibidong, the awakening martial soul ceremony was still carried out in an orderly manner on the square. The children had already fainted and woke up in a few minutes. Are you a deacon from the West Branch Hall? Did you bring this child, Duan Yufan? Suddenly, a person appeared next to Deacon Mo, who was Ghost Douluo. It's me. Sir, how is Duan Yufan doing? Director Mo looked at Gui Douluo's clothes and knew they were more advanced than him. This is my token. Let's go, the Pope wants to see you under his crown. Ghost Douluo took out a token for Deacon Mo to see. Elder's order. Elder, why does the Pope crown himself to see his subordinates? Deacon Mo nervously said when he heard that the Pope wanted to see him. There's so much to say. The Pope's crown naturally has something to do with you. Just follow me to the papal hall. Douluo didn't explain and led the way towards the papal hall. Yes. I'm talkative. Deacon Mo followed Gui Douluo to the papal palace. At this point, Xian Daolu was no longer there, and he went back to his own worship hall. Hulaina was still in the main hall. Under the crown of the Pope, people have come. Douluo said and retreated to Hulina's side. Deacon Morin pays his respects to the Pope's coronation, long live. Morin looked at Pope Bibidong sitting tall and knelt down, saying. Free gift. Duan Yufan is the one you brought to awaken your martial soul. Don't be a steward, is Duan Yufan your family? Bibidong asked lightly. Under the Islamic emperor's crown. This child was brought back from Fonglin village half a month ago. The village was destroyed by the evil soul master, and I found that Duan Yufan was a survivor. I found out he was already 6 years old, so I decided to bring the child back to my house to stay for a few days. Director Mo revealed the situation without any concealment. You did a great job, I declare you as the deputy bishop of the branch hall. Duan Yufan has great talent and has become the holy son of the martial soul hall. My disciple, you have made great contributions. Our martial soul hall rewards you based on your achievements, and the elder ghost has drafted an appointment letter. Bibi Dong said calmly, feeling relieved and his background is clear. Thank you, Pope. Deacon Mo took on, knowing the style of the martial soul hall and not evading it, to avoid displeasure from Bibi Dong. Under the Pope's crown, it's ready. Then Goe Douluo handed over the drafted appointment letter to Director Mo. Show your bishop the appointment letter and you'll know how to do it, Goe Douluo instructed. Thank you very much, Elder. Deacon Mo respectfully accepted the appointment letter. Alright, since that's the case, let's step back. Bibi Dong waved his hand and said. The Pope has spoken. Deacon Mo left the papal palace. Duan Yufan was led by Zhu Douluo and hurried on, arriving at the soul-hunting forest in about 3 hours. The soul-hunting forest is the best place for newly awakened martial souls to hunt soul rings. Most of them have the highest number of soul beasts in a century, and the level of soul beasts in 1,000 years is not high, and those that have been around for 10,000 years are even rarer. I am afraid that some soul masters will indiscriminately kill soul beasts, so the martial soul hall has dispatched troops to guard the hunting soul forest. To enter the hunting soul forest, one must obtain the martial soul hall's command. Duan Yufan was not idle all the way and found that the second martial soul judgment sickle was also a few passive. Mastery of martial soul sickle. Increases the attack power of the sickle. 7 deadly sins. The core skill of the savior, with a 60% increase in basic attacks and a 100% increase in self-dark attribute attacks. Martial soul judgment sickle. Ignoring all physical defenses when attacking, the wound permanently leaves the erosion of the sickle's dark attribute, making it a very domineering martial soul. It can be said that Duan Yufan's soul judgment sickle cannot withstand any single blow to the soul king. And it also comes with basic sickle skills. Sin Karma Enhancement. Restores a small amount of soul power upon hitting an enemy. Hook neck slash. Grab enemy attacks. Sprint slash. 2-stage displacement skill. Double cut. Quickly deal 2 attacks on enemies. Guillotine. When grabbing an enemy's attack, the enemy's dominant effect is ineffective, giving Duan Yufan 1 second invincibility. Basic skills require sufficient soul power and unlimited combos. Son, the soul hunting forest has arrived. Let's go inside. Zhu Douluo's androgynous voice made Duan Yufan feel a bit uncomfortable. Caught by Chrysanthemum Douluo all the way, one can still smell a strong floral scent emanating from his body. No wonder, it's probably due to awakening a flower and plant, coupled with increasing strength, that my personality was influenced by the martial soul's strange velvet and heavenly chrysanthemum. Zhu Douluo took out his own elder order and handed it to the guard soldiers to see. Sir. Please come in. Duan Yufan followed behind Zhu Douluo into the soul-hunting forest. I won't go into much detail about the scythe martial soul. It won't be used in the first and middle stages, and will only appear in the later stages. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Superb Auxiliary Soul Techniques. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Superb Auxiliary Soul Techniques. Soul beasts with the bright attribute are much rarer than those with other attributes, so soul beasts that meet Duan Yufan's criteria are not easy to find, let alone those that require a 100-year soul beast. Holy Sun. Although the soul hunting forest is suitable for hunting soul rings at the level of a soul master, there are fewer soul beasts with light and dark attributes, and it is estimated to take a few days. Chrysanthemum Douluo was afraid that Duan Yufan would be anxious, so he quickly gave Duan Yufan a preventive shot. It's okay. Elder Zhu, I won't be in a hurry, Duan Yufan said with a slight smile of understanding. Although prepared, 2 days have passed and I haven't even seen a light attribute soul beast, nor have I encountered a soul beast that has been around for less than 100 years. On the 3rd day of entering the soul hunting forest, I finally found a soul beast, but it was a plant-based soul beast. Yangming Holy Spirit Flower. On the third day at noon, under the scorching sun, Chrysanthemum Douluo discovered the Yangming Holy Spirit flower basking in the sun, but it seemed to have 5 rhizomes, reaching the level of 500 years. Holy Sun, how's it going? This Yangming Holy Spirit flower is a bit beyond the year of the first soul ring, and the year is a bit high. How about we continue to search? I dare not let you suffer any losses. Ju Douluo found it difficult to make a decision. Elder Ju, let's just use this plant. I think it's very suitable for me. It should give me healing soul skills from my martial soul. Moreover, I have an innate level 20 soul power, and I still have twin martial souls coexisting. I think I should have a stronger ability to withstand the first soul ring than an ordinary soul master, said Duan Yufan confidently. Okay, then I'll go and pull it for you. Ju Douluo heard Duan Yufan's words quite reasonable. 2 divine-level martial souls coexist, and the innate level 20 soul power is indeed incomparable to ordinary people. Ju Douluo and Duan Yufan hid behind a big tree and were discussing, afraid that they might disturb the Yangming Holy Spirit flower. After discussion, Ju Douluo approached Yangming Holy Spirit flower with absolute strength and speed, and used the title Douluo to deal with the level of 500 years. Soul beasts had no time to react. In no time, the Yangming Holy Spirit flower was caught in front of Duan Yufan, who looked like a sunflower in his past life. Duan Yufan pounded the cross martial soul in the middle of the sunflower, and the petals immediately disappeared. With the appearance of a yellow soul ring, his entire body had withered. Duan Yufan followed the instructions of Ju Douluo to guide the soul ring to attach to himself. The first time he had no experience, Duan Yufan spent nearly 20 minutes successfully attaching the soul ring to the cross martial soul. Don't be fooled by the way Duan Yufan absorbs soul rings in anime, but personally getting started is still a bit different. How about it? The soul skill has any effect? Chrysanthemum Douluo finally let go of Duan Yufan's tense heart as he opened his eyes. As I wished, I obtained a healing soul skill called Healing Prayer. The healing effect for my teammates is 30%, and I can even restore soul power by 20%. In addition, my martial soul effect can be increased to 40% and restore soul power by 30%. I can also purify various control and abnormal states, such as poisoning and bleeding. I can release the first soul skill 20 times a day. Duan Yufan thought to himself that as expected, no matter what soul beast soul ring he absorbed, the soul skills he added based on his level were corresponding to the skills of the flame angel Mami. However, what Duan Yufan didn't expect was that the healing prayer and purification skills of the flame angel were combined together. Also, with so many auxiliary skills of the flame angel, 9 soul rings alone are not enough. What? The first auxiliary skill's amplification effect is so abnormal. When we go back, the Pope's crown and the great offering will definitely be surprised. Ju Douluo laughed heartily, and Duan Yufan's soul skills were better, and he would also praise himself in various ways. But it can only be released 20 times a day, isn't it too rare? Duan Yufan said with uncertainty. Shao. It's already a lot. With the 79-level soul power of the leader of the 7 Treasures Glass sect, I believe his first soul skill will not be released more than 20 times at most. Alright, let's continue to search for your second soul ring. Ju Douluo praised it and continued to search for the next soul beast. Then I can rest assured. The two of them talked for a while and continued to search for the next suitable light attribute soul beast. Unfortunately, they searched for another day. Finally, hard work paid off for those who had the heart. In a wasteland, a rhinoceros horned beetle was found, about the size of a basketball, with a golden shell all over. It had a golden horn similar to a rhinoceros, surpassing the level of a century-old soul beast and just reaching the level of a 1,000-year-old soul beast. Shengzi, this soul beast has the attributes of gold and light, which should also match your martial soul. However, there is a difference in the level of soul power between the century-old and millennium-old soul rings, I'm afraid. Douluo watched as the rhinoceros horn beetle was digging the soil and explained this soul beast to Duan Yufan. Elder Ju, don't worry about catching it. I can also assist myself. I have absorbed it for 500 years, and I am not afraid of a 1,000-year soul ring. Duan Yufan had an experience and began to feel confident. Alright then. If there's any problem, I should be able to interrupt. Douluo saw Duan Yufan's confident expression and stopped honking. I saw Douluo pull out the rhinoceros horn beetle that was digging soil with one foot, and instantly use his soul power to crush the beetle into serious injuries, returning to Duan Yufan's side. Holy Sun! Here! Douluo placed the rhinoceros horn beetle next to Duan Yufan. Duan Yufan summoned the cross-martial soul to increase his passive skill effect, while summoning the judgment sickle with his other hand. With a gentle wave, he split the hard shell of the rhinoceros horn scarab in half, dying to the point where he could no longer die. Subsequently, a light purple soul ring appeared above the soul beast, and Duan Yufan began to absorb the soul ring upon seeing it. Chrysanthemum Douluo saw Duan Yufan's scythe martial soul, and with just a gentle wave, he split the hard shell that Soul Lord's level may not be able to break through in half, secretly feeling surprised. More than 10 minutes later, Douluo saw Duan Yufan open his eyes and knew that he had succeeded. Congratulations to the Holy Sun. The second soul ring has broken through to the level of a millennium soul ring, which is truly a divine level martial soul. The effect of the millennium soul ring should not be bad. Douluo congratulated Duan Yufan and quickly asked about the effect of the soul skill. Well, thank you very much for Elder Ju's help. It's really good. The second soul skill, called the Blessing of Courage, increases one's own attack and defense, as well as nearby teammates' attack power, attack speed, and movement speed. The consumption of soul power is reduced, and the basic increase is 30%. Every 10 levels of soul power increases by 10%, with no limit on the level. Duan Yufan said softly, and the two skills of Blessing of Courage and Blessing of Guardianship are also combined. And after absorbing 2 soul rings, I am already at level 25 soul power. Duan Yufan continued. What? No level limit. The meaning also has an effect on me, and the Holy Sun is now at level 20, indicating an increase of 50%. Holy Sun, can you release a second soul skill for me? Douluo was surprised and wanted to personally try Duan Yufan's soul skill amplification effect. No problem, second soul skill, Blessings of Courage. Duan Yufan prayed with his hands clasped together, and the cross emitted a faint golden light attached to Douluo's body. Chirong Tong Tian Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum Douluo also summoned his martial soul to feel the amplification effect brought by Duan Yufan. Holy Sun. It's very good. I used to have soul power between 94 and 95, but now with your assistance, I have increased my strength by about 1 level. Kikuduluo said after feeling the recovery of his martial soul. Thanks to Elder Ju finding the soul beast. Duan Yufan also ended his courage blessing. After testing, the two of them headed towards the outside of the soul-hunting forest. Brothers, if you want to invest, hurry up and invest. The contract has been signed and will be sent in 2 days. The status will be changed then. Favorite recommendation tickets are supported to get started. Book Friend Group 935451095, join by answering questions. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Martial Soul Hall. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Martial Soul Hall. The Martial Soul Hall of the Martial Soul City symbolizes the highest honor, the Douluo Hall. At the innermost part of the Douluo Hall is a magnificent room with a 6-winged angel stone sculpture similar to the entrance of the Pope's Hall and the sculpture on the square. Qian Daolu was kneeling devoutly with his eyes closed in front of the six-winged angel statue, looking relieved. At first, Qian Daolu thought that Duan Yufan was an illegitimate child created by his son Qian Xuanji, because apart from the Qian family, he had never heard or seen an angel martial soul awaken in any part of the continent for hundreds of years. Until the angel god resolved his confusion, Qian Daolu finally felt relieved and a bit disappointed. The answer from the angel god is, my energy is the side that receives the raging power of the sun, fiery, judgmental, and combat-oriented angel. But the sun also has a gentle and warm side, and Duan Yufan's angel belongs to the gentle and warm side, so it leans towards healing and assisting. Not a combat angel. Finally, the god of angels instructed Qian Daolu not to interfere, and Duan Yufan's angelic martial soul will lead his host to grow and find his own home. Qian Daolu received his own answer and got up and walked out of the room where the angel statue was enshrined. Big brother. You've been inside for over 2 days. How's it going? The same old man with white hair exuded a fierce tiger aura all over his body. Golden Crocodile's second brother, it's okay. I have already received the answer, but I didn't expect this child to be selected. Has Yu Guan returned yet? Qian Dao Flu sighed for a moment before asking. Not yet, it's been 3 days, maybe it's hard to find a suitable soul ring, said the person named Golden Crocodile. Golden Crocodile, enshrined in Douluo Hall 2, is just the title of Douluo. Its martial soul is a golden giant crocodile with a soul power level of 98, the peak Douluo. The Douluo Hall enshrines 7 titled Douluo, all of whom have strength above level 96. Only when the martial soul hall reaches level 96 or above are they eligible to become worshippers, while the remaining titled Douluo levels are called elders. As a god-level angel martial soul, I don't know if this kid has any common characteristics with Shuer. Second brother, have you told Shuer about the situation here? Qian Dao went to Jean Crocodile's second offering to inform Shuer. Big brother. I have already informed Shuer. But I haven't replied yet. Jean Crocodile too, who was enshrined in Qiandaoliu, had already informed Shuer when he entered the angel statue room. That's good. At this moment, there was a young man on the other side, with short golden hair, in a gorgeous room, reading a letter. Is it an auxiliary angel martial soul of level 20 innate, said the short-haired youth gently. Reply to Grandpa's message, just say I know. Okay, young master, a voice responded to the young man with short hair. After obtaining 2 soul rings, Duan Yufan and Zhu Douluo were on their way to the martial soul city. After less than 4 hours, they entered the martial soul city. Entering the west gate of the martial soul city, passing by Director Mo's house, Duan Yufan found that Director Mo and his wife were ready to have dinner. Uncle Mo and he, you're eating. Duan Yufan said after entering the room. Xiaofan. Come and sit down and have a meal together, and he quickly called out. No, and we still need to go back and report to the Pope's coronation, and I have already obtained the soul ring. After returning, I will go to the academy, and I may not have much time to come back and practice. Duan Yufan came over and said. Xiaofan, congratulations on awakening your powerful martial soul, or your innate full soul power, becoming a disciple under the Pope's crown. You really need to go to the academy to practice well and not disappoint the expectations of the Pope's crown. Deacon Mo congratulated. And the Pope has already approached me, because of you, I have been promoted to the rank of Archbishop. Deacon Mo continued. Congratulations to Uncle Mo. I am also very grateful to you and Auntie for treating me so well and bringing me back from the village, said Duan Yufan with sincere gratitude. Alright. You guys go to the papal palace first and come back to play when you have time, said Deacon Mo. Okay. Then I'll leave first. Duan Yufan left the room and continued walking towards the Pope's palace. After more than 10 minutes, he arrived at the entrance of the Pope's palace and was respectfully cleared by the guards. Pope Bibidong and Douluo were in the main hall when they saw Duan Yufan and Douluo enter. Under the crown of the Pope, this trip went very smoothly, and the soul skills of the Holy Sun after obtaining it exceeded my imagination. Chrysanthemum Douluo respectfully spoke up first. Goodbye, teacher. Since Bibidong recognized himself as a disciple, Duan Yufan could only change his mind. Oh. Surprisingly, it surprised you both, indicating that obtaining soul skills is very good. Tell me, Elder Ghost called Nana. Bibidong looked at the two lightly. Yes. Ghost Douluo's black figure flashed and disappeared into place. Teacher. Thanks to Elder Ju's dedicated efforts in finding suitable soul beasts for me, but there are too few light attribute soul beasts. It took 5 days to find 2 soul rings, said Duan Yufan in a playful voice for Ju Douluo. All of them are what my subordinates should do. These 5 days have not been in vain, and it is because the Holy Sun has good talent that he can absorb soul rings beyond the limit of time. Ju Douluo praised Duan Yufan when he mentioned himself. Teacher. Are you looking for me? At this moment, Helena followed Douluo to the papal hall. Junior brother. I'm back. Alright, Xiaofan, you can say it now. What kind of soul skill is so mysterious? Bibidong showed a rare and intriguing smile, but no one noticed. Duan Yufan saw it almost and released the martial soul cross, which instantly appeared yellow and purple. Second ring Millennium. Level 25 soul power, although only in light purple, is already very impressive. Soul skills. Bibidongjian's light purple soul ring began to look forward to it. Huliena felt a sense of defeat and found that Duan Yufan's soul power had reached level 25. You know, she was only 6 years old, and she was only 28 at the age of 10. The first soul skill is called Healing Prayer, which can treat injuries and purify various abnormal control states. Duan Yufan then explained in detail the amplification effect of the first soul skill. Oh. Not bad, you release your first soul skill like me. Bibidong heard the purification effect and asked Duan Yufan to release his soul skill to him. Yes. Teacher, the first soul skill, Healing Prayer. The same release method as the second soul skill. A burst of white light fused onto Bibidong's body, and he only felt a magical power that cleared his mind a lot. The impact of the Rakshasa divine power on his thoughts was surprisingly not as great. Great. It's truly an auxiliary skill at the divine level martial soul level, and the second soul skill. Bibidong continued to ask. The second soul skill, a blessing of courage. Duan Yufan continued to release his soul skill when he saw Bibidong speaking. There are a total of 3 white lights attached to Bibidong, Helena, and Douluo, and they introduce the ability of soul skills. Teacher, I can add a second soul skill to 10 people at the same time. My current soul power can last for 5 minutes, and the first soul skill can be released 20 times a day. Duan Yufan introduced his 2 soul ring skills. It truly deserves to be a divine-level auxiliary martial soul, far beyond the assistance of the 7 treasures and glass sect. Qian Daolu observed the situation inside the main hall outside and sighed before leaving. Great. Put it away. Bibidong spoke, and Duan Yufan put away his martial soul. Nana, arrange a room next to you for junior brother Xiaofan to stay. Tomorrow morning, you will take Xiaofan to the college to report. Bibidong arranged for Duan Yufan to say. Yes. Teacher. Later, Huliena led Duan Yufan out of the papal palace. Readers who enjoy reading can invest in the Qidian platform and expect to earn over 200 Qidian coins. They can book more than 10 chapters in the future. Book friend group number 935451095. If you want to add, just add it. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Evil Moon and Yen. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Evil Moon and Yen Duan Yufan's room is next to Hu Laina, opposite Bibi Dong's room. The room is very large, about 100 square meters. The place of residence is behind the Papal Hall, and further down is the Douluo Hall. The next morning, Hu Laina came to call Duan Yufan. Junior brother. Get up. I'm going to report to the college. Hu Lina pushed the door and woke up the hazy Duan Yufan. Duan Yufan looked out the window in a daze. The hazy sky was slightly brighter, and it was no more than 6 o'clock at most according to time. My senior sister, why do you wake up so early? It's not even dawn yet. Duan Yufan was speechless. But Duan Yufan didn't know that because Hu Lina was sleepless all night, he was hit by Duan Yufan. On the first day of reporting, you must wake up earlier and introduce 2 companions to you, Hu Lina shouted loudly, but did not enter the bedroom. All right. All right. I'm getting dressed now. Duan Yufan felt helpless and had to get up to get dressed and walk out of the bedroom. Let's go. Let's take you to breakfast. Hu Laina approached and pulled Duan Yufan, ignoring the child's feelings. Although Duan Yufan is only 6 years old, his soul has been with him for over 20 years, so it is impossible for him to have any thoughts about Hu Laina, who is only 10 years old now. After breakfast, I met Bibi Dong. Bibi Dong asked Duan Yufan to perform his first soul skill healing prayer again. That's the feeling. The Rakshasa god said that her power is to control evil thoughts, not to be controlled by evil thoughts. With the help of Duan Yufan, I can quickly control the power of the Rakshasa god without losing myself. Bibi Dong thought to himself. Duan Yufan also guessed Bibidong's approach and wanted to use his purification ability to eliminate the negative emotions caused by the side effects of the Rakshasa god. Bibidong's subtle expression changes were also noticed by Duan Yufan. Teacher, let's go to the college first. The Martial Soul Palace Academy is very large, and all the people in the Martial Soul City are studying there. The Martial Soul City Academy is divided into 3 levels. Junior Soul Master Academy, Intermediate, and Advanced. Beginners are Soul Masters at levels 1.15, Intermediate levels 16 to 30, and Advanced levels 31 to 49. It is also related to innate soul power, so although Duan Yufan and Hu Laina only have over 20 levels of soul power, their talents still allow them to attend the Advanced Soul Master Academy ahead of time. After the Martial Soul Awakening ceremony, the Martial Soul City immediately started school because Duan Yufan was 1 day late in obtaining the Soul Ring. Arriving at the dean's office, a person with gray-white hair and a white beard, about 50 years old, whose exact age cannot be seen in Douluo continent. Holy daughter. Holy son, you're here. The dean had already received the notice. The titles of saint and saint are reserved for the Martial Soul City and have not yet been made public to the mainland. Only the high-level officials of the Martial Soul Hall and some elite soul masters know about them. Junior brother Xiaofan. Hey. Let's call you Xiaofan in the future. This is the Dean of the Advanced Soul Master Academy, Svenda, an 88-level Soul Douluo. Hu Laina introduced the Dean to Duan Yufan. Hello Dean C. My name is Duan Yufan, please take good care of me in the college in the future. Duan Yufan politely greeted Dean C. Dare not. Son, if there is anything happening in the college in the future, just let me know. Dean C also responded to Duan Yufan's words. Son, I will assign you and the Virgin to the same class. I have already said hello to your head teacher and can attend classes at any time, Dean C continued. Let's go, Xiaofan. Go to the classroom and introduce you to 2 brothers. Hu Laina immediately pulled Duan Yufan out of the dean's office. Then I came to a classroom where the teacher was teaching me about the level and year of understanding soul beasts. The arrival of Hu Lina and Duan Yufan interrupted for a minute, and there were at least 40 people in the classroom, most of whom were over 12 years old. The people in the classroom all know Hu Laina, but they don't know Duan Yufan, who looks like he's only 6 years old. It's very strange how Duan Yufan came here when he's so young. This is a senior college classroom. Welcome. The last student in our classroom has arrived, let's introduce ourselves to this child. The teacher is a middle-aged man wearing glasses. My name is Duan Yufan, I am 6 years old. I am an auxiliary-type soul master with a soul power of 25 levels. In the future, anyone who is injured can come to me for treatment. Duan Yufan said casually. The students working below were whispering, completely unaware that they were only 6 years old and even taller than some students. They also remembered what happened in the square a few days ago. Alright, everyone quiet down. Duan Yufan, the teacher's name is Yang Daoqi, also your director. You can call me Director Yang or Teacher Yang. Go down and find a place to do it. Director Yang introduced himself and then said. Duan Yufan scanned the entire staff and found that there were mostly males and only over 10 females. The seats were 1 for each person, with 6 rows of seats and 7 in each row. There were just 2 adjacent seats left. Behind Duan Yufan is a person with a head of black and gray hair, who looks quite cold and somewhat similar to Hu Laina. Behind Hu Laina is a person dressed in fiery colors, and the two of them look around 11 years old, similar to the characters in the anime. Xiaofan, these 2 people behind me are my biological brother Xiaoyu and our partner Yan. We will get to know each other carefully after school, Hu Laina whispered. Hello. Duan Yufan could only say hello when Hu Laina introduced him. Hello, Holy Son. Xiaoyu and Yan are still very loyal to the Martial Soul Hall. They are both orphans adopted by the Martial Soul Hall and directly refer to Duan Yufan as the Holy Son, because Hu Laina has introduced them before. At first, Duan Yufan listened to the teacher's lecture, which was quite unusual. Various soul beasts opened Duan Yufan's eyes, but as he listened, he couldn't continue listening and wanted to doze off. Finally, after the next class, Duan Yufan, Hu Laina, Xiaoyu, and Yan began to introduce themselves. Holy Son. My name is Xiaoyu, Hu Laina's biological brother. I am 11 years old and 29 years old in the strong attack weapon Soul Moon Blade. The first person I introduced to Duan Yufan was Xiaoyu, who took his father's surname, while Hu Laina took his mother's surname, which is also Fate. She also inherited 2 martial souls from her parents. Holy Son. My name is Yan, I am 11 years old, level 29 strong attack beast soul flame lord. Yan also began to introduce himself. Quickly, several people became proficient. Xiaoyu and Yan often sparred, and Duan Yufan treated them until he exhausted the first soul skill count. Duan Yufan found that he could provide effective treatment for his injuries, which could feed back Duan Yufan's soul power improvement. Although it was not much, it was also stronger than his own meditation practice. So, wherever there was a sparring in the academy, there was the figure of Duan Yufan. The few people who engaged in the sparring couldn't help but fight more and more, and Duan Yufan immediately added him when he was injured and lost his soul power, recovering as before. In this way, Duan Yufan spent half a year in the academy and his soul power reached level 28. Hu Laina was only at level 29, and Xiaoyu and Yan had already gone to the soul hunting forest to obtain soul rings. The higher the level, the more time it takes, especially to break through a major level bottleneck. Therefore, it took another half year for Duan Yufan to upgrade to level 30, and Hu Laina also reached level 30. This made Hu Laina angry for a long time. She only improved by level 2 in a year, while Duan Yufan improved by level 5. Chrysanthemum Douluo took the lead in searching for the soul ring. I sent the contract. Oh, it's so difficult to make up without a plot. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Sunset Forest. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Sunset Forest. At the age of 7, Duan Yufan is about 1.3 meters tall, with short to medium hair and pure black. He is dressed in a blue and white outfit, and his face has a slightly rounded facial features, making him increasingly handsome. Perhaps due to the support of the Soul Master, Duan Yufan developed a gentle and elegant personality. Duan Yufan's affinity became increasingly attractive, even at the age of 7, coupled with his talent. He was very popular among girls in the academy, and Hulina could only be angry and often protected his calf. 11-year-old Hulina, with the growth of time and the improvement of her soul power, coupled with the bonus of Tianhu martial soul, began to show her charm in every move, and her body proportion gradually became more and more perfect, making her whole person charming and moving. The Tianhu martial soul is often referred to as a demon fox by the boys in the academy, and Hulina also likes the name of this demon fox. In a year's time, Xiaofan has advanced by level 5 to level 30, while Nana, you only improved by level 2 in a year. Your junior brother has already caught up with you, so why don't you work hard to cultivate now? At this moment, in the Papal Palace, Pope Bibidong was scolding Hulina, while Douluo and Douluo had always been by Bibidong's side. Yes. Teacher. Hulina felt a bit disappointed and was slightly hit by Duan Yufan's cultivation speed, but it seemed that more than one Hulina was hit. Even Xiaoyu and Yen were the same. Xiaoyu and Yen are already at level 33, just over 12 years old. They have obtained soul rings for about 1,300 years. Teacher. Senior sister is the first of her age to reach level 30 soul power, and she has already worked very hard. I may be quite special, Duan Yufan said in a comforting voice when he saw Hulina feeling a bit disappointed. In the near future, I believe that your presence will make many geniuses lose their color, and the teacher still believes in this. Bibidong commented on Duan Yufan's talent. During this year, Bibidong occasionally asked Duan Yufan to release his first soul purification skill, which made Duan Yufan naturally happy. When there was no one around, he even smiled at Duan Yufan. Alright, let's not talk anymore. Let's go, Moon Pass. Protect the two holy sons and daughters, Bibidong said lightly. Yes. It's my duty to do so, Douluo immediately responded to Bibidong's words. You go to the Sunset Forest, the soul hunting forest is no longer suitable for you. It has always been a captive soul beast forest, Bibidong suggested. Yes. Teacher. Okay. Under the Pope's crown. Then the three of them walked out of the papal hall towards the north gate of the martial soul city. The Sunset Forest is located southeast of the Tiendo city in the Tiendo Empire, and is the second primitive forest in the Douluo continent. Although it is not as large as the Star Forest, there are many types of soul beasts, and there are also many year-round soul beasts. Therefore, Duan Yufan and his companions went to the Sunset Forest. Although it's even farther than the soul hunting forest, it's not much further, and the three of them can only travel for half a day at most. Although Duan Yufan and Hulina are honored as the holy sons and daughters of the martial soul hall, they have not yet become so refined as to drive by carriage, so they chose to walk on foot, which is not just a training session. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, on the outskirts of the Sunset Forest, Douluo took the lead in paving the way for Duan Yufan and Hulina. As we walked deeper and deeper, it covered the sky and sun, and the dense branches and leaves of the Sunset Forest covered the scorching sun. Son and daughter, let me clear the way. Be careful of the thorns under your feet. Chrysanthemum Douluo turned around and instructed the two of them. Don't worry. Elder Ju, just lead the way. Duan Yufan responded. It has been almost 2 hours in the Sunset Forest. Although I saw many thousand great soul beasts, I couldn't find a suitable couple. Looking at the dim sky, I found a relatively flat spot to camp. Son and daughter, it's almost getting dark. Let's spend the night here. We'll continue searching tomorrow, said Douluo, glancing at the sky. Although it can still be seen outside the forest, there is no light in the forest, and it is blocked by the forest. As soon as the sun sets, it immediately darkens. Alright, Sister Nana, let's set up a tent and Elder Jew will grill a soul beast to eat. Duan Yufan arranged. Okay, Holy Sun. Chrysanthemum Douluo flashed away before their eyes, and soon appeared with a sheep-like soul beast in hand. Duan Yufan and Hulaina set up a tent, and Ju Douluo set fire to a barbecue. Xiaofan, let's set up a bigger tent and rest together outside, so it's easy to take care of, Helena suddenly said. Okay. Let's stay together for the night. Duan Yufan didn't refuse and agreed to Hulaina's proposal. Elder Jew, what should you do? Do you want us to help you build one? Said Duan Yufan as he looked at Ju Douluo grilling meat. Son, I don't need it anymore. I'll keep watch for you in the forest to prevent any accidents. Ju Douluo turned around and immediately responded to Duan Yufan. Okay then. When Duan Yufan and Hulaina set up a barbecue, the meat was almost cooked. After finishing, Duan Yufan and Hulaina went back to the tent to rest. Duan Yufan was really tired after rushing all day, and with the addition of a Douluo night watch, there was nothing to worry about. Duan Yufan immediately fell asleep. Hulaina watched Duan Yufan fall asleep with a cute expression, and quietly fell asleep. The next day, Duan Yufan got up and Helena was no longer in the tent. The three of them packed their things and continued to search for the soul beast. Finally, at noon, I honestly found a suitable light attribute soul beast for Duan Yufan. The bright holy tiger. Holy Sun. How about this soul beast? I'll go and catch it. The three of them hid behind the big tree, watching the bright holy tiger eating. Kikudoluo suggested. Excuse me. Elder Jew. Duan Yufan agreed with Ju Douluo's words at the moment. Ju Douluo used his soul power to gather a blade and quickly shot it towards the bright holy tiger in his palm, only to see the bright holy tiger fall to the ground in a blink of an eye. Holy Son and Holy Daughter. Let's go, the bright holy tiger is already seriously injured. Good. Duan Yufan sighed that having a title Douluo with efficiency is fast. The three of them walked up to the side of the bright holy tiger, who was already on the brink of death. Duan Yufan made the final blow and a purple soul ring appeared above the corpse of the bright holy tiger. Under the gaze of Hulaina and Ju Douluo, Duan Yufan began to absorb this soul ring that lasted for 4,000 years. Duan Yufan first increased his physical assistance ability and successfully absorbed soul rings in about 20 minutes. Xiaofan. How about it, what are the soul skill effects? Hulina immediately asked with joy when she saw Duan Yufan's success. The third soul skill, Holy Light Guardian. 2 golden lights enveloped Hulina and Judoluo, forming a protective shield. Guardian of Holy Light can also attach a protective shield to 10 people, which can withstand soul attacks by 30% and increase speed by 30% for 5 minutes. Duan Yufan released the Holy Light Guardian Soul technique to the two, and then introduced the effects of the Soul technique. Haha. Sure, junior brother. Hulaina congratulated Duan Yufan. Let's go. Continue searching for the Holy Maiden's soul ring. Chrysanthemum Douluo said immediately after reading the introduction. Okay. Elder Chrysanthemum. The three of them began searching for Helena's soul ring again, and after about 2 hours, they successfully found a soul beast that was suitable for Helena's soul ring. Laughing to death, I've been busy these days and don't even have time to code. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Encountering Poison Douluo. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Encountering Poison Douluo. Duan Yufan and his companions met a small group of pink goddess spirit beasts, about 30 of them, walking upright like humans. The leader of this group of pink maidens happened to be 1,300 years old. Nana, senior sister. You're lucky. I've seen the pink goddess soul beast in a book that suits your heavenly fox martial soul very well. I estimate the soul ring will enhance your charm. Duan Yufan whispered to Hu Laina, hiding behind the tree. Really? I thought only fox spirit beasts could strengthen my martial soul, Hu Laina said ecstatically, delighted that Duan Yufan recognized his charm. Elder Chrysanthemum. Let's use this pink empress as my third soul ring, Helena immediately said to Chrysanthemum Douluo. Saint. Since that's the case, I'll bring this pink lady over. Chrysanthemum Douluo saw that the two had made a decision and didn't want to shirk. The third soul skill, Breath Barrier. Duan Yufan saw that Ju Douluo had released his martial soul from his hand, and he was also very emotional. A plant martial soul actually allowed Ju Douluo to cultivate and become a strong attack-type soul master. Under the strong soul power of the Chrysanthemum Douluo's aura barrier, a group of centenary and millennium leaders, the Pink Empress, were unable to move at all. Ju Douluo walked towards the leader of the Pink Empress with a faint smile, grabbed her by the neck, and then walked over to the side of Duan Yufan and Hu Laina. The Pink Empress could only watch helplessly as her leader was captured, with no choice but to do so. Chrysanthemum Douluo dealt a heavy blow to the leader of the Pink Empress with tremendous soul power, and immediately released Chrysanthemum Douluo's third soul skill, the Breath Barrier. The Pink Empress was finally able to move and attacked the three of Duan Yufan. Seek death. Get out of here. Chrysanthemum Douluo saw that the remaining 100-year-old Pink Empress dared to charge forward and immediately released 9 soul rings. The Pink Empress also realized it. Finally, she glanced at the leader and ran away. Chrysanthemum Douluo did not stop the Pink Empress from escaping. Duan Yufan believes that soon the Pink Empress will also elect a new leader. Saint, everything that's bothering you has left. Hurry up and absorb the soul ring, said Ju Douluo as he watched the remaining Pink Empress run away and spoke to Hu Laina. Thank you, Elder Ju. After Hu Laina finished speaking, she cut the pink lady's neck and immediately breathed a sigh. A purple soul ring appeared, and Hu Laina sat and absorbed the soul ring upon seeing it. What a powerful soul power fluctuation, but this soul power aura is a bit familiar, Yenner. Let's go and take a look. Someone nearby sensed the soul power aura released by Ju Douluo and came over to Duan Yufan's side. Yenner, don't make a sound later. Let's just take a look from a distance. Don't worry, Grandpa. Soon, an old and a young person arrived at a location where they could see Duan Yufan's side, hiding behind a big tree and peeking. Chrysanthemum Pass, there's also a purple soul ring. This girl is about 30 levels old like a wild goose. She's actually absorbing a millennium soul ring. The old man clearly recognized Chrysanthemum Douluo's identity and thought to himself. Chrysanthemum Douluo's ears twitched, clearly noticing something, but remained silent because Helena had already inhaled the purple soul ring into her body and was about to transform it into her own soul ring. At the critical moment, Chrysanthemum Douluo did not want any interference. After more than 10 minutes, Helena finally completed her final transformation and then opened a pair of seductive eyes. Junior brother Xiaofan, I succeeded. Hu Laina immediately said to Duan Yufan. Shoo, Saint. Chrysanthemum Douluo let out a sound, making Duan Yufan and Hu Laina look at him at the same time. I saw Ju Douluo gather a blade and suddenly turn around and throw it at a tree. Little thief, how dare you peek? Ju Douluo shouted coquettishly as he threw away the blade. Yenner. Be careful. The big tree immediately split into pieces, revealing the person hiding in it. An old man was dressed in green clothes, with gray-white hair and beard. A girl similar to Helena was dressed in a blue-green outfit, with green hair, eye makeup, and a slightly purple-black mouth. Old poison, it's you. Hiding behind me doesn't mean you're secretly poisoning, does it? Ju Douluo recognized the old man and chuckled softly. Chrysanthemum Pass. I didn't expect to meet you here. Aren't you all in the Martial Soul Hall? Did you go to the Star Do Forest to hunt for soul rings? Why did you run to the Sunset Forest? The old man, who was called an old poison by Chrysanthemum Douluo, immediately responded. The old poison, Duan Yufan knew at a glance that it was poison Douluo Dugubo, who claimed to know all the poisons, but couldn't even detoxify himself, and his granddaughter Duguyen. Duan Yufan squinted his eyes as he watched Dugu Bodeo Douluo, and then remembered an important prop in Douluo continent. Dugu Badu Douluo appeared in the sunset forest, perhaps already knowing the location of the prop. Where are we going to hunt for soul rings in the Martial Soul Hall? It seems like we don't need to report to you, this old poison, said Ju Douluo in a coquettish voice. Of course. Wherever you want to go in the Martial Soul Palace on the whole continent, you can go wherever you want. Dugu Badu Douluo retorted to Ju Douluo. Oh. Elder Ju, do you know each other? Would you like me to introduce you? Duan Yufan asked knowingly. Holy Son and Holy Daughter, this person is a poison master with the title Douluo 91, known as Poison Douluo. She is a casual cultivator and has refused to join the Martial Soul Hall. Ju Douluo's respectful tone towards Duan Yufan and Hulayina surprised Poison Douluo. The Holy Son and Holy Daughter. I've only heard of the Holy Daughter, but I haven't heard of the Holy Son in the Martial Soul Hall. I didn't expect this Holy Daughter to reach level 31 Soul Master at around the age of 10, and this Holy Son looks even smaller than Yenner. Is it even level 20? Dugu Bodu Douluo thought silently. Oh. Elder Chrysanthemum, are you sure you're a poison master? What do I think you're talking about? This Poison Douluo and this girl are both poisoned. It's a pity to be named Douluo. His life is not long, and if he's called into the Martial Soul Hall, it's just that there will be another tomb in the Douluo Hall in the near future. Duan Yufan spoke faintly to scare Dugu Bo Poison Douluo. Oh. Holy Son, why didn't I see it? Ju Douluo curiously looked at Dugu Bo and said. My martial soul told me. Duan Yufan made an excuse. Oh. Then I understand. Ju Douluo clearly believed Duan Yufan's words when he heard that it was a martial soul. Be cautious, young man. Who told you that I was poisoned? Believe it or not, I will poison you first. Dugu Bo was exposed and angrily said to Duan Yufan. Old poison, how dare you threaten the Holy Son? You can try poisoning the Holy Son, otherwise you don't have to poison yourself. Tomorrow, you will destroy the blue phosphorus snake family. Ju Douluo saw Dugu Bo threatening Duan Yufan and immediately spoke harshly to Dugu Bo. Elder Ju, it's okay, his granddaughter is still here. Duan Yufan smiled slightly and didn't take Dugu Bo's words to heart. Poison Douluo, right. If you're willing to join the Martial Soul Hall, I can help you detoxify. Otherwise, your granddaughter will definitely die before you. After all, your granddaughter doesn't have the massive soul power like you to suppress toxins. As the toxins increase day by day, at the moment of the toxin outbreak, what can you use to resist your granddaughter's poison? Think carefully. Anyway, we are not in a hurry. If we have figured it out, we can send a message to the Bishop of Tiendo City to our Martial Soul Hall headquarters, Elder Ju, and Senior Sister Nana. Let's go back. Duan Yufan calmly said a lot to Dugu Bo. End of this chapter.